The same kind of intro. All right, folks, we just did this on Instagram, and excuse my puffy eyes and my not perfect hair because I just got out of acupuncture because I'm super injured. But enough about me. So I'm walking around in this grocery store, and by the way, they're, what do you call it? They're jackhammering outside, so that's not the sound of your heart pitter-pattering at the side of my face. But if you're just tuning in, say where you're from and what your favorite like zero waste or plastic free product is. And okay, so I'm walking around the grocery store and I finally decided after 42 years of buying, where's the damn toothpaste? I'm sick of it. Where is it? Buying toothpaste, it's right behind me, and it might be great toothpaste, but it's in plastic, and then you throw away the plastic. And you know what? It is not wicked cool. So I'm in here and I'm like checking my Instagram because some zero waste person told me how to make healthy zero waste toothpaste. Thank you. I'm super out of it. And I run into Andrea, who is a zero waste professional. This is like what you do somehow. And so she's huge on Instagram. You should follow her. Hey. And her handle is at Be Zero Waste Girl, and she's helping me right now make my own toothpaste for the first time in 42 years. So there's Andrea. Say hey, and say everyone where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions for her, go for it. So how did you, just on a personal, super, you know, like human level, not superhuman, but human level, how did you get passionate about zero waste?
So my background is environmental education. I've been teaching environmental education since I was 14 years old. I'm now like 36.
For 10 years? Right?
Yeah. And I back in 2006, I stumbled across a woman called Bea Johnson, and she's Bea Johnson. She basically started the zero waste lifestyle movement, and her blog was called Zero Waste Home. It's still there, and I stumbled upon her blog when she first started it, and I was like amazed that this woman had like 2 kids, a husband, and all their trash fit in a jar like this big for the whole year. So that kind of started this relationship between like, oh my gosh, like here I am teaching environmental education, but I'm not doing anything at home. I'm not doing anything at home to really kind of support that. So that kind of started the journey for me.
So,
and, yeah.
So what's wrong with waste? Like, not to be dumb, but like what's wrong with plastic? I think most of us consume plastic, have to-go cups, whatever, every single day, and we don't think about it.
Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
Well, plastic is a petroleum product, first of all, and it lasts for a long time. And we produce so much plastic-based materials that recycling really doesn't make a dent in the amount that we produce. So
and people forget, but like if you're recycling plastic, you have to melt it down. It's super toxic. It degrades.
Right.
You have to add more chemicals. So plastic isn't just petroleum. It's got tons of toxic chemicals. And if you buy canned beans or whatever, it's lining those cans usually.
Lined with plastic. Even your disposable coffee cup that people walk around with, that's plastic lined as well.
And you're putting hot liquid in it. I love that you said that. So you're putting hot liquid and then drinking out of a toxic plastic lining. Yeah. And you can't recycle that stuff. No,
there's no. Recycling's kind of there's a great quote that says recycling is an aspirin to our overconsumption.
It's overrated.
Yeah, it is. It's not that it's not the solution. Our solution is to use less.
It's sort of like zero-scaping your yard and then driving your Hummer on top of it. It's like, okay, it's good that you're zero-scaping, but maybe just try to, you know, bike or walk or...
Yeah, it's kind of a collective. Now, there's no way we can all be completely zero waste. We can't make any trash whatsoever because we live in an economy where we produce stuff for the landfill. So what we're doing by living this zero waste, this whole zero waste, like, you know, like talk and trend is really about disengaging as much as possible from, you know, these kind of single-use things. Like if you look around, there's just like plastic is pretty much
plastic
everywhere, right? We use it for everything.
So I'm so excited to run into you because I'm sick of creating plastic from my toothpaste, and I'm 42, and so the first time in my life I was going to try and make my own, which doesn't seem that hard. So can you tell us, how do you make your own toothpaste? And it's probably cheaper, and it's probably yummier, like healthier, and tastes good. So how do you do it?
So there's 2 ways. Now, we make a tooth powder at home, and then some people make a toothpaste, and this is how simple it is.
Which one's better?
I particularly like the powder only because it travels well, and so when we travel, coconut oil can tend to be, you know, it's a little unstable with temperature, and so sometimes it can leak if you don't have a good container. Yeah. It changes the consistency a little bit.
Right. It's like a crazy girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah. So what I do is simple as baking soda. I use a bentonite clay, And
So
then
baking soda is like pretty much free. It's so cheap.
It
and
is
then
very
bentonite clay.
Yeah, bentonite clay is a living clay,
Okay.
and basically it becomes like, someone can correct me, I can never remember if it becomes positively charged or negatively charged when it's activated by water.
Okay.
And that's just really good for your teeth and all around,
Right.
your gums. But really basic.
And if you care whether it's positively or negatively charged, you probably have too much time on your hands.
Yeah.
Just get back to brushing your teeth and living life for the benefit of other people.
It's so true.
Right.
Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
But a really easy one is coconut oil if you want to make paste. So it's coconut oil, baking soda, and peppermint. And
That's
you can just
so
mix
easy.
those.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're in this aisle. So I just can get some peppermint oil, and it's in a glass container. And then what do I do with the plastic lid?
Well, the plastic lid, I just found out that a company called Preserve takes it back, and they're take back 5 little bins. I have one in town. I emailed them and I asked them about if they take plastic caps, and they said absolutely we do.
Cool.
And I was like, hell yes.
And they recycle it.
Yeah, they have a special market for it. So when we think of recycling, there has to be a market for that material in order for it to be recovered properly.
Okay. So we get some little peppermint or spearmint or whatever, and then some coconut
Oil.
what? Oil.
Yeah.
But I thought that moved around. So coconut.
Yeah, you can just use coconut oil. Like if you have it at home, you can just kind of mix it.
Can't forget your loop.
Yeah, you just kind of like take a scoop of coconut oil. You have a little mason jar, like those tiny ones.
Yeah.
I just put maybe 2 or 3 big tablespoons in. Add some baking soda. I like to kind of just find my right consistency. So
And then you
play
just
with it.
put your brush in it somehow.
Yeah, I just. Well, I mean,
Dumb
some
question, but like it's.
Some people like have a little tiny like spoon and
Okay.
spoon it on it, but
Yeah.
honestly, like when I'm
Right.
home,
Right.
when no one's looking,
If
I
you're not
just
Instagramming it.
shove it right
Yeah.
in there and,
Right.
and use it.
Cool, I love that. So it can actually be pretty cheap, super healthy, good for the environment, good for you.
Yeah.
And you were saying on our Instagram video that it can be a fun like little craft with children.
Yeah, kids love. When I was a nanny, they love to make their own. They love to make almond milk with me. They love to make like you
Right.
know toothpaste. They love the stirring and mixing process. You know, depending on the
Right.
age of the kid, you just kind of
Right.
engage them in that way.
Yeah, so we often think that the only thing kids enjoy is like shooting people in video games, but they actually totally enjoy like craft, like making
They do.
Play-Doh or you know, look, Mom, Dad, I made my own toothpaste.
Totally.
And I drove your car, even though I'm only 4 years old, to Whole Foods and
Absolutely.
crashed it.
Yeah, totally
pretty
fine.
cool. Yeah.
And it's like, and especially with kids, you always, and even adults, showing them the whys. Like, why are we doing this in the
Right,
first place,
right.
right? I think that's the part. It's easy. The how-tos
love
are
that.
easy.
I
We
love
have to
that.
understand the whys. Like, okay, we're doing this because we want to disengage from plastic, try to make our own things when we can.
love
And
that.
these little things are easy to make. I'm not like weaving my own clothes or churning
Right.
my own butter.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
that takes forever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this took me years to make.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to try to go plastic free with my toothpaste and make my own stuff. It sounds super easy, actually.
So easy.
So to go through everything, I clearly don't have command of the English language right now. I take an essential oil like peppermint or spearmint. I take coconut oil and I take baking soda. I get a good consistency that I like.
Yep.
I dip my toothbrush in it in my little mason jar that's Instagrammable,
Yep.
and then I brush my teeth.
Absolutely. Then
And
you
then-
can Instagram that too.
And then how does Zero Waste help me remember to floss? That's my other problem.
So some flossing. So I use a water pick, which is a water
Oh.
flosser, and it's just I got a rechargeable one, and it's just like high pressured water,
Wow.
and you just kind of. Now my husband likes to use these little. It's by Radius. They're now they're silk, which is not vegan, but nylon has to be tossed. But these are little like paper how do you sachets?
Sachets.
Yeah, and then you just tear the paper and then the floss is inside.
Oh.
And then all that can be composted. But if you don't do silk, then just do nylon that has to be trashed.
Yeah, I'm vegan, but I'm not sure if I'm upset about the plight of silkworms yet.
Yeah.
What's wrong with silkworms making silk?
I mean, I guess they need a lot of it. It's kind of.
Do the worms have bad working hours and no window ventilation?
I'm honestly not too like up on it, but I mean, I just feel like plastic does last in the environment, And like, so say a plastic toothbrush you used when you're 6 years old, if it hasn't been incinerated, it's still in the environment, causing havoc and killing animals for all those years. So it's kind of like, I mean, there's no good solution. It's like, we want like there to be a perfect thing, but there's just not. So try to just disengage as much as we possibly can.
Well, thank you, Andrea. At Zero Waste Girl on Instagram. She's huge. She does helpful tip videos all the time.
Yeah.
Check them out. She's super sweet, as you can tell. She's not a pretentious weirdo, Portlandia, Boulder type like me. And you can make your own toothpaste and have fun and do it with your children. And then you could create a lifelong environmentalist. I became an environmentalist, not because I was hugging trees or anything, but because I was, reading the back of cereal boxes and learning about the environment. And I liked animals and trees. And I was like, oh, this sounds fun.
Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow. Boom.
Child of the 80s.
Don't call them out, because then the Trump administration will defund Reading Rainbow.
No,
you just destroyed it.
No one takes away my Reading Rainbow.
Wait, say that again.
No one takes away Reading Rainbow.
My Reading Rainbow. No one takes away my Reading Rainbow, Trump. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, and follow at Zero Waste Girl.
Girl.
And Zero Waste Girl.